Hey YouTube, welcome back to Universe X, and today we will be going over the next 6 cards in the 2022 Zanni box. We're just plugging through these. I think right now the focus is on green from what the reveals are, and yeah, we're just going to get into it. Before I go into the cards themselves, just want to say if you haven't already, jump into the official Dragon Ball Super Card Game Facebook group. Follow that because that's where we're getting these spoilers from. It's the quickest way to find official announcements as well as spoilers. You can also visit the unofficial discussion group as well as the unofficial Reddit or the Universe X Discord, where there's plenty of things to talk about game related or outside of that. As long as you want to talk about it, I'll make a channel for it for the most part. But yeah, as far as supporting this channel, if you'd like to, you can just go down and hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you never miss a beat, as well as the like button, and then comment. Let me know your thoughts on these cards, the video trends. And without further ado, we're going to get into these cards. So let's put up with the template and let's get in there. So the first card we actually have here is Frieza Before the Fall. Alright. Deflect, limit 1, auto, green. If your leader card is a green Frieza, and you have a green unison in play, when your leader skill causes your opponent to discard a card from their hand, play this card from your hand. Auto, when this card is played, draw 1 card and then discard 1 card from your hand. Okay, and then activate main, limit 1, choose one of your other green Frieza army cards and place it in its owner's drop area when your opponent discards a card from their hand. Okay, so this is kind of like I don't know what you want me to say on this one. So this is from the starter deck green Frieza. That Frieza's not really doing anything in the first place, so like, I mean, do with that as you will. You know, it's kind of rough just because it's not a good deck. Like I have one literally like laying on the floor over there, actually. One sec. It's literally this one. It's not really doing anything. Like, when have you ever seen anybody using this leader? It's not happening. So, that being said, this card is kind of being added into a deck that has no chance of seeing play. But if we're judging it in a vacuum, it's a 1-cost 19k with deflex. That's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. It'll be able to press your opponent. You get to draw a card and discard a card. You'll have a fuel overwhelm. You'll pitch your weakest card and you get to see your next card. So that's pretty cool too. It is cool that you are going to be able to do that. Play it for literally what your leader was going to naturally do anyway, which is force your opponent to discard. And it's cool that you can kill a Frieza Frieza's army and then make your opponent discard another card, because that's what the deck does. The cards are going to be getting effects from being plucked off by effects like these. So I guess all in all, it's pretty cool, but the card's not really changing anything, you know what I mean? Next card, you got Ginyu, a Captain's Responsibility. Deflect, unique, permanent. If the leader card is a Ginyu Force card and it is your turn, your other green Ginyu Force cards and your cost 2 gain barrier. Auto, when this card is played, look at the top 3 cards from your deck, add up to 1 Ginyu Force card amongst them to your hand, and play the rest at the top or bottom of your deck in the order. A couple things that are cool here. The green leader from set 10, Ginyu, is very green centric. It has effects that involve only green Ginyu Force, and then this one on its own as well. It's only going to give barrier for 2-cost green Ginyu Force. But other than that, I do like how this permanent can work as long as you have a Ginyu Force leader, because there are ones in yellow and red, and then also it can search any Ginyu Force card amongst the top 3 to your hand, which could be the red and yellow one. So in terms of that, I like it. If there's ever like some synergistic stuff between those, you can definitely run that, but it is still a green-centric deck. So while it's able to search any Ginyu Force, I'm not sure about the splashability of it. I'd have to check. Moving on to the very next card, you got Prince Destruction Vegeta, Proud Defiance. This one's going to be a doozy. So there's a lot of stuff here. Unique, Barrier, Servant. Permanent, this card can attack, and if your opponent has more energy than you, this card gains Blocker. Auto, when this card is played, draw 1 card, then place 1 card from your hand to the bottom of your deck. Activate main, limit 1. If your leader card is a green Evil Wizard Bobby card and your opponent has 1 or more energy, play this card from your hand. Alright. And then activate main. If your leader card is a green Evil Wizard Bobby card and you place this card from your hand to the bottom of your deck, choose up to 1 unison, remove a marker from it. So this is actually really, really cool. 1, it's got barrier, so it's going to be a little hard to remove. 2, it's got servant, so it's technically going to be 15k, but it can attack. So the cool thing is, it's first permanent. If your opponent has more energy than you, this card gains blocker. If you lose the die roll, where you go second after, you know, game 2, you will always have this guy as a blocker. He will never not be a blocker, and I think that's actually pretty cool. Other than that, the only way you're going to get that effect all the time, I believe, is if you skip charge. There's no reason to skip charge. If you go first, you're going to be on 2 when they're on, you know, 1 and then 2. Yeah, so But if you go second, he's always in half blocker. Now, the other cool thing, when he's played, you draw a card and you get to bottom deck a card. You're going to see your next card and you get to set up your bottom of the deck servant plays. If you guys are familiar with the deck, there's a lot of effects that specifically check the bottom of your deck for a servant card and play them. This will be one of those cards that does pretty well. Also, since he has servant, you're going to be able to go on a +1 status, well, because he's going to come down, replace himself. Actually, no, he comes down, you draw one, you discard one. So he's a -1 when he comes to the field, and then he's a break even when you use servant to put him at the bottom of the deck and you draw a card. However, if you do that, and then your next turn you play him, because I guess you really cards your opponent has one place card from your hand. So yeah, that's actually not the limit one. So I guess if you put him on the bottom of your deck, and then you play him and you draw one, discard a card, he's technically going to be just still a break even, but he's going to be going through your deck. This guy has a lot of synergy from going to your hand, to the field, to the bottom of your deck, and potentially being brought back out by the other cards. If your leader is a green evil wizard property and you place this card from your hand to the bottom of your deck, choose one unison, remove a marker from it. It's really cool just to have that in the back pocket. Now granted, because this is leader locked, specifically leader locked, your opponent, it's pretty telegraphed. Like, your opponent's going to know if you have it. Well, not know if you have it, but should expect it if you're playing Majin Vegeta. But this is going to allow them to maybe put more negates or blockers towards their unison, because they know if it goes down to one marker, you're just going to discard this. Heck, if you play more than one, you could two-shot a unison, get it down to 2 markers and just drop 2, because that's not a limit effect. So all in all, I think this card's actually a really, really cute addition to the Majin Vegeta deck. It's not like the Majin Vegeta deck was necessarily doing anything right now, but if it was, this is a valid addition to the deck. Now, we're going to move on to Majin Buu the Insatiable. Now, it's Z Awaken, green. If your life is at 3 or less, green Majin Buu. Activate main once per turn. Place 3 non-leader cards from under this card into their owner's drops. Play up to 1 green Majin Buu card with an energy cost of 4 from your hand. Activate main once per turn. Place 1 card from your hand underneath this card. Draw 2 cards. Then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in their battle area or drop and place it under this card. Choose up to 1 keyword skill from that card chosen with this card's skill, and yeah, it gains that skill for the turn. So, dang, I just realized something. So, yeah, basically here, what we've got going on is actually pretty neat. So there's 2 types of Z leaders, I think, that really just kind of fit into a certain amount of pacing. It's one, the archetype of this Z leader is going to have extremely overtuned stats, but it generally has like a kill button. Like, it's not a good sustainer. There are sustainers and there are bursters. The bursters normally have like effects that technically don't gain you advantage, but then you can do something that gives it attack, double strike, critical, something weird, and then it kills the unison at the end of the, or the unison, it kills the Z leader at the end of the turn. And there's like ones that are just like static buffs, like this one. This is literally just the normal Majin Buu on like roids. Like, it has 20k base, which is amazing for an aggro deck, because an aggro deck is all about applying that pressure, and 5k is the difference between your opponent having to drop 1 5k or drop 6k to 10k just to get out of your neutral poke. So that's pretty good. Yeah, the 3 non-leader cards on this card to the drop to cheat out a Majin Buu, that's pretty cool, because that Majin Buu normally wouldn't have been accessible in the aggro deck. So you're going to be able to actually climb the ladder and start getting some of your stuff on board, and that's not normally something you would have been able to do at that point. Then you got the once per turn, you place 1 card under this card to draw 2. That's cool. That's more acceleration than the deck had. That's the acceleration the deck had on the front side, if I'm not mistaken. So that's actually very, very strong that it gets it back. And please note that there was normally a cost limit, I believe, to what it could suck up. I think it was 4 or less. But this is able just to suck up anything. Anything on your opponent's board to drop. And I think that's super valuable. That's actually a really, really, really cool effect. And yeah, so I'm with it. This is a very, very good card. And it's literally just the Buu leader on roids. So, very good addition. Next, SS Son Goku Awaken by Rage. It's a 1 cost, but it has 2 Z energy, meaning you're probably playing this on turn 2. Auto, when this card is played until the end of your opponent's turn, this next turn, this card gains 5,000 power and can't be removed from battle, or by the battle area by skills. So it becomes a 15k, that's pretty cool. Auto, limit 1. When your leader card is a green Son Goku card, and you discard 1 card from your hand, when a card is placed from your deck to your drop by one of your leader skills, your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. Okay. And then, Auto 1, Sparking 15, green. If your leader card is a green Son Goku card, when this card is placed from your life into, or when a card is placed in your life into your drop by one of your leader skills, add 2 cards from top of your deck to your life. Okay. So that turns a -1 on life to a +1 on life. That's regeneration on a card that doesn't have regenerate, and we have never seen anything like it. I'm always very keen to look at cards that have very unique effects and start gauging them based off of how strong they could be. This is really, really interesting to me. Now, it's not like Dredgeku has done anything in a while, but I mean, Butters was making that deck work far beyond its lifespan. So maybe we're at a point where that could be something that happens again. Maybe this is just like the next step of the deck. But I am definitely waiting to see what people do, because that's a powerful effect. Now also, it's only limited to Green Sun Goku leader cards. And so who's to say there's not a Green Sun Goku leader card that's not going to take its own life? I'm sure they're going to think about this card in the future if they do so, but this is something cool to look at. I would look at all the Goku leaders, but this is definitely made for Dredgeku with a Sparking 15 and his specific triggers for these. But yeah, I'm digging it. And then we're going to move on to the last card. We got SS Vegito, ready when you are. Deflect, permanent. If there are 3 or more colors in your Z energy, this card gains barrier. Auto, when this card is played, look to the top 7 cards of your deck, add up to 1 Vegito card amongst them to your hand, shuffle your deck, and if you added a card to your hand, place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck. Activate main if your leader is a red Vegito card and its front is facing up. You may have, and if you have 2 or more energy, you can remove this card from the game, flip up to one of your leaders to its backside. Yeah, flip one of your leaders to its backside and draw 2 cards. So essentially, this does a whole lot. 1, it's got deflect, and it comes down with barrier if there are 3 or more colors in your Z energy. Because your colors count as everything except yellow, if you have any Goku and Vegeta in your Z energy, it's going to automatically count this. 2, when this card is played, look at the top 7 cards of your deck and you search a Vegito card. That's cool because your leader's Z Awaken is going to be able to cheat a Vegito on board by pseudo evolving it onto another Vegito. So this guy becomes a deflect barrier totem pole waiting for a Vegito to evolve over him. And in the meantime, he's going to try to even search it out himself. But then his activate main is the best part because you're going to be able to just flip over. And the cool thing is it's just a 2 energy thing. It doesn't ask you to take life or anything. So if you are running a leader that can't attack or doesn't need to attack and you don't want to give Vegito cards, you still have to worry about beating their life in because you don't want a leader to flip over to base 15 at 8 life. And then eventually when you finally get down to the correct life, it then flips to or overlays to its Z Awaken and it has even more. Like, nah, that's a bad time for you. So yeah, this card is going to definitely make a splash because outside of Vegito, nobody's really expecting a meta deck to be added to the format, but Vegito is actually strong enough to contend. So this will be a card that you see going around a lot. It's definitely a 4 of in the Z deck. It's powerful. So I'm very, very excited to see how this works. I'm very, very excited to see how you guys end up playing it. And I am just so happy to see that Green's getting some pretty decent cards. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. I do want to know your opinion. I will be getting to those. Thank you guys for all your support. We did reach that 2,000 goal, so I'm going to be figuring out how to celebrate. And just know that we're going to have so much more stuff on the channel. I got stuff coming up with a card game that I haven't really touched yet. Actually, I haven't touched it at all on this channel. I've got like just more stuff with One Piece, more stuff with Dragon Ball Super. We got the other channels we're working on. We got the Twitch we're working on. So just know a lot of stuff is coming. I just wanted to let y'all know. Thanks, and I will see you the next time. Remember, if you haven't already and you're thinking this is the moment, maybe just join the EX fam and click that subscribe button today. Otherwise, though, see ya.